the end of December. I'm up here at the Grays Peak trailhead. Today, gonna be hiking 14 Torreys Peak. Gonna be taking the Kelso Ridge for a winter check off of that. And then, depending on vibes, depending on how I'm feeling, might be checking off Grays Peak as well. You know the deal. For a full guide and more information on this hike, check out my website, which is linked in the description below. Just like the summer version of Kelso, the winter one is still going to be class 3, still going to have the knife edge, and still going to be about 3 miles from the upper trailhead, so 6 miles total from the upper trailhead. And then the big X factor, but most likely will be adding on an additional 6 miles, so 3 miles each way from I-70, the Bakerville exit. I would highly not recommend driving this road. If at all. I drove today a little bit, like a mile up where the road splits to get to kind of the north side of Torreys. You might be able to do that, but generally, please don't block the road and just hike the road miles from I-70. Anytime you are thinking about hiking in the winter, avalanches in Colorado are a prime thing to consider. So please always check the forecast, have the right gear. Got my beacon on even though I'm by myself, which is morbid, but you can read between the lines as to why I might have that. This slope right here is going to be one to keep an eye on. Obviously, you're kind of passing underneath it here, so it would take a pretty big avalanche to come this far down, but if the conditions are right, certainly a factor. Today, not an issue at all. The depth, frankly, is just not concerning for a run out this big. Finally, to the upper basin here. There's my route up Torreys down the ridge. Do a vibe check right there, and then Grays down there back to here. As you can see by the two mountains, Grays is basically snow free and Torreys is pretty caked in. And ultimately there's a lot of reasoning why to that, but a lot of it is how the wind blows the snow up here, how it's sun affected. It'll be quite a different experience than you're used to if you're doing these in the summer months. And that's why you have to be prepared for a much longer day and obviously be aware of the additional challenges that snow presents, especially on Kelso Ridge. So here's your turnoff, just like in the summer, kind of aiming for this notch to get up onto Kelso and start the ridge. It is super cold. And I think the motors on my drone froze, so that's great. So apologies if I'm not able to pop it in the sky and get that perspective again. Up on the ridge. And yeah, should be pretty obvious where to go. I'll show you if there's any abnormal difficulties, but looking dry until right about there and the snow picks up. Starting the ridge here. Pretty dry, which is nice. Definitely going to be a lot more snow up there. Also, the drone is out of commission for the rest of the day, which really stinks. But I've been up here on Kelso with drone footage, so check out my summer video, give you an idea. And I'll try to get some different angles of the more challenging stuff as I get up higher. This is looking at like the third tower, maybe. You can potentially just go straight up here, or you can kind of take this here. I'm gonna take this, maybe in there. The sugar snow that is on this part is just not super safe today, so I'd rather have a little bit more footholds. Whew. Well, that was fucking interesting. That is looking down the first crux there. A little sketchy, but doable. Look back and a look ahead. So I'm gonna go through the obvious notch right in front of me, and then I believe the best way to go is right here. Next section here, a lot of class 3. I'm gonna try to stick to the ridge direct, see how it goes. The other option is to kind of take this dirt slope. In the summer, definitely want to stay left here though. Look down crux number 2. Next section here, again, more options. You can take this little snow runnel or stick to the rock. It's important to note today that everything I'm showing you is going to 1000% be dictated by the snow levels. My strategy generally today is stick to rock because the snow is not super deep. We've had a low season so far, and the sugar snow is not good for me. So when I'm showing you this, it's just kind of what to expect. It's not where to go because you're gonna have to problem solve for yourself. Oh, hello. Looking down the ridge again. So this tower, where was it? I think this one, I went around to the left. Other than that, stayed ridge direct. There is basically the summit, knife edge kind of in here. As you can see, maybe, that this left side is a bit corniced. The later you get here, more snow you get, I would say, air to the right. The reason being the winds are blowing from the north and the west and creating this cornice, which if it were to fall and you were on it, not a good result. Final section of the ridge before the knife edge and the summit. Pretty thin, but lots of comfort from the exposure if you want it on this right side. If you go face direct, definitely getting into class 4, maybe higher, so I'm going to try to get up to this point and then take the ridge up. Here is the knife edge. Pretty good snow on the left side, pretty rocky on the right, so yeah, obviously if you need to kind of keep it low, you certainly can, but yeah, here we go. Holy fuck. Okay, now you just have a little climb to the summit of Torreys Peak. Summit of Torreys Peak. This one's pretty emotional for me. This is the first summit I've been on by myself since I had August, where I was involved with a horrible accident that took a friend's life on a mountain. It's been a mental battle to get back here, and that was not an easy route to do this as my first, especially during the winter. I'm so proud of myself though, and this one's for you, Jason. Just leaving the summit of Torreys Peak. I think that's like my fourth time up there. Definitely the most meaningful. We'll see if I'm gonna go tag Grays if the wind's whipping. I don't really care about it. If it's not, why not? Looking back up to the summit of Torreys, there's actually a guy up there now. Generally speaking, the two things I would say is that if there is avalanche risk coming down from Torreys, it's going to be kind of in this section because there's this cornice that can fall down. Likely you won't have too much risk here, but something to keep in mind. And then looking over to Grays. Grays really is not going to have too much avalanche problem. It just, as you can see, doesn't keep a lot of snow. Summit of Grays Peak, wintertime summit check. From here, going to take the standard trail back to the car. I'll wrap up this video down low. It's too cold up here. GoPro keeps dying. let's say you didn't tag Grays Peak and you came down the standard way here. So you're gonna wanna cut, you would not wanna go here, even if this is all snow, because there could be a cornice here. What you wanna do is go up a bit and then cut across to where I am now. You can kind of see the trail right there. If there is any avalanche concern on Grays Peak, it is in this area here, which is technically Torreys, but you get the point. Whew. All right, back in the car. I'm gonna keep this quick because I am very tired. So just about 11 miles, 4,300 feet of climbing. If you didn't add on Grays, obviously you would subtract a bunch of mileage and climbing. I enjoyed my day, obviously very happy with the result with other circumstances that I have going on. But I would say, like, in general, the Kelso Ridge of Torreys Peak in the winter, the more snow, the better. It'll probably turn your day into an epic with more snow, but the more snow there is, the safer it is because it's more consolidated. What I had today was a lot of sugar snow, and like I'd step through like 4, 5, 6 inches, as you might have seen on the knife edge, and it just, everything slid. So you couldn't rely on the snow to step on, but then you didn't know where the rock was either. So just kind of sketchy at times. I mean, Grays and Torreys as like a pair of 14ers in general in the winter, if you can time it right with Avalanche risk, it's a nice option if you're willing to hike the road, which is very monotonous. You know the deal. Full trail guide, GPX file, all the information you need about this hike linked on my website, which is in the description below. Yeah, of course, I have to say this again. I hate to like be a Debbie Downer, but I also am on the internet and have very close relationship to things happening in the mountains. So please know what you're doing in terms of avalanche conditions. I'll show you that I have literally been wearing my beacon all day, and it's right here still. And I have my shovel and probe in the bag as well, proving to you that like I actually do this stuff, and it's important for you too as well. Just for the haters out there who don't believe me, I got my shovel right here, and I got the probe right over. I'm not gonna take it out right there. So yeah, just be sure to have Avi gear, and at the very minimum have general knowledge, but ideally have a good knowledge. Always check the forecast before you're going out to do any winter hike. You can help support the channel by shopping virtual Sherpa gear, which I am wearing none of, which is great product placement by me. And also I have a Patreon if you're looking to come to Colorado. If you live here and just need help with trip planning, feel free. It's the lowest level is like $3, $5 a month. It's nothing, and it just helps me be able to keep this going long term. And then of course, if you just want to donate, I have those links on my website as well. All right, I'm gonna pass out and I don't want to ramble anymore. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next adventure.